Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning from those tuning in from Nigeria. A very warm welcome to the sixth episode of the Discovery Series. We call it the Discovery Series because every month we feature a country, and it's a discovery process that we have curated, particularly for businesses who are expanding to those countries. Today, we would be discussing, understanding, and knowing better on what's happening in Nigeria, how businesses happen in Nigeria. So this series has been curated by World Trade Center Bengaluru, Chennai and Kochi from India, in collaboration with the Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce. And for this episode, as I said, we also have our partner for World Trade Center, the WTC Abuja, who has been instrumental in setting this panel up. So at the outset, let me thank WTC team, Abuja team, for helping us to present this program for the benefit of the audience. So this webinar, as I said, is an ongoing effort to spotlight emerging global markets. And at the end of the day, it is all helping you make business connections. So this is the sixth one. We have had sessions on UAE. We have featured Japan. The Netherlands was the third one. Philippines was the fourth, and France, which happened last month. So we are continuing this journey, this series, with the support of all the World Trade Centers globally, with the support of the participants who continue to be a very crucial part in these conversations. Today, as we focus to Nigeria, Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa and is a land of immense opportunity, especially for Indian enterprises. It has a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem and also is known for ease of doing businesses. Of course, you have a lot of stakeholders who enable all these things, including WTC Abuja. We are honored to have with us a distinguished panel of speakers who are bringing in deep expertise in trade, investment, and policy. Their insights, I'm sure, will help us understand the regulatory landscape, the cultural nuances, and the strategic entry points when you are thinking about Nigeria. I extend a very warm welcome to our panelists, starting with Karim Adileja Ahmed, who is the Vice President of World Trade Center Abuja. Mr. Ahmed is a leading voice in international trade facilitation and investment promotion across West Africa. I'm not going to read out his entire profile, but I'm sure April would have emailed to all the participants the detailed profile, plus it is there on your screen as well. So Karim, it's a pleasure, and you have been a good friend, a supporter for World Trade Center Bengaluru. We are really glad to have you back at our forum. Welcome.
Thank you, Vivek. Looking forward to this session. Thank you.
Next, we have Princess Sarah Mustafa Odu, the Director General of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC. Princess Sarah spearheads Nigeria's business reform agenda to enhance investor confidence and regulatory transparency. Princess Sarah, it's an honor to have you on our panel. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
Next, we have Dr. Chijoke Ikechukwu. I hope I pronounced it right, Dr. Ikechukwu. Yes. Yeah, he's a Vice President for Industry at the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a very, very strong Chamber of Commerce and a facilitator when it comes to the African region. Dr. Ikechukwu is a very seasoned economist and a policy strategist with decades of experience in industry development. Dr. Ikechukwu, thank you once again, and we are really glad that you have joined us. Welcome to this session.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Next, we have Ms. Aisha Remy, who's Executive Secretary, CEO of Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC. Ms. Remy leads Nigeria's efforts to attract and retain foreign direct investment through strategic partnerships and policy innovations. Ms. Remy, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to know you, to be connected with you. Thank you again, and I welcome you to this panel.
Thank you very much. And just like I stated earlier, I'm representing the Executive Secretary of NIPC. Thank you. My name is Emmanuel Donza.
Okay. Thank you. And we also have our moderator, moderator who has been there right from the start. In fact, he's the person who has coined this term, the Discovery Series, even though, we take the credit of running the series. So Kanveer, welcome back. I don't think you need any introduction to our audience. He is a very dynamic communicator, very active on social media, particularly on LinkedIn. He's a podcaster, is what I should say, even though he's a founder and ideation officer of Atharva Marcom. He is known for his engaging style and global business insights. He has traveled the world, and we are really glad to do this. You continue to do this with Kanveer. Kanveer, I welcome you to this session as well.
Thank you so much.
Let me also place in record our sincere thanks to Alabi Goodness from the WTC Abuja team. Alabi, right from the start, has been responsible for this session, and she has been a constant point of contact for WTC team from the WTC Abuja team. And if you, Alabi actually is responsible for programs and trade missions at WTC Abuja. Ms. Alabi Goodness, thanks again for all your help. And I'm glad that we have done this together. I welcome you as well to the session.
Thank you very much, Vivek. Thank you.
So participants, thank you once again. I'm sure you would find this session useful. It's a working day, and we appreciate your time and also joining in time. So with that, I hand it over to Kanveer.
Thank you so much, Vivek. And it's absolutely great having this conversation and this webinar again. I think we are all learning so much. All our members and participants are learning so much from each episode. And we've literally traveled the world, virtually at least, from Japan to UAE to Netherlands to different so many countries that we have done. And it's very exciting to finally enter Africa and go into the African continent. And within Africa, especially Nigeria. And, I was very excited to do Nigeria, especially because when I used to be in the UK, I used to have a lot of Nigerian friends. And there are three things which I always found, very, very, very particular or very, very peculiar about my Nigerian friends. Number one, they are so confident. They're super, among all the Africans, they're super confident. Like if you're going somewhere and even if they don't know the way, they pretend as if, they know each and every way, like they just know the routes. Secondly, they are so well dressed, even if they are going to a little, to shopping, the women friend and the male friends will be like perfectly dressed. And I'm like, I'll be in my slippers or whatever. And, they will not come out without looking absolutely perfect. And third is like, they party like amazing. So there are some of the best songs and the, Afro beats and, the music and the culture actually comes out of, is Nigerian. So it's full of life, full of energy, full of, and it's amazing. And then I got to know from them how amazingly the industry is doing, how it's growing, the startups, the growth. So it's very interesting to just a little statistic. There are more births in Nigeria than per year than in all of Europe. So that is the kind of population we are seeing. That's the kind of development we are seeing. That's the kind of growth we are seeing, and from a very vibrant, friendly, and a fun country. So I really look forward to this conversation today. And when we were doing this, when we put out our request about Nigeria, funnily enough, nobody wanted to know. They wanted to know. Of course, they wanted to know about the economy and everything, but they were queries straight away about how do we invest, how do we start from the Indian investors and from the Indian businessmen, from the queries that April sent out and Vivek got it and all. So there is a lot of excitement about Nigeria among the Indian entrepreneurs, among the Indian industry. So I really welcome everybody over here, and maybe we'll just start with a one-line introduction, starting with Mr. Kareem, and then we can go one by one and have a minute of introduction so that everybody knows a little bit about the panelists. Mr. Kareem.
Thank you, Canberra. My name is Karim Adelaja. I am the Vice President, World Trade Center, Abuja. I also double as the General Manager, Sales and Marketing at the Churchgate Group. We've been investors in Nigeria for over 50 years now, in starting from commodities and now primarily into real estate. So I'm looking forward to this session and sharing my experiences with all of the listeners here today. Thank you.
Dr. Chijioke,
Okay.
apologies for my pronunciation.
Yeah, sure. Chijioke Ekechukwu is my name. I'm the Vice President, Industry of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce. I'm an economist like you, but I didn't have the privilege of going to London School of Economics like you did. Okay, so as Vice President, Abuja Chamber of Commerce, we are in charge of the organized private sector, business people, men and women, and in that sector we have a whole lot of trade groups for women in business, people, business people in mining, and many of those. Every sector is represented, and we have a huge membership. And so what we do is just to look at all the things that will make the businesses of Nigerians to work, and then of course in collaboration with making sure that other countries' businesses also work. So that synergy to exchange business ideas to make everybody comfortable doing business in Nigeria and vice versa. That's what we do. It's my pleasure to be here.
Lovely. And if you go to the Princess Zara, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning once again. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we are hearing you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good morning. My name is Princess Zahra Mustafa Audu, Director General, Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC. I know it's a mouthful, but basically what we do is we supervise, business-facing ministries, departments, and agencies in Nigeria, and we also work with the subnational government to make sure that policies around creating an enabling business climate across Nigeria, are well implemented. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to an interesting conversation.
And our other next panelist, I understand that you're not Mr. Aisha Rimi, but your name is coming.
Yes, he represents Aisha Rimi. Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Our executive secretary would have loved to here and be part of this, but she's currently in Saudi Arabia for Business and Investment Forum. So she had asked me to represent her. My name is Emmanuel Longza, Deputy Director with the Investment Promotion Department. And the Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission is an agency of the government set up to encourage, promote, and coordinate investment in Nigeria. So our job is quite easy to ensure that we make it a lot easier for investors, particularly Indian investors, to invest in Nigeria and guide them throughout the process. Thank you.
Amazing. So, if I may start with Mr. Karim, maybe you could give us a little bit background about, how you would describe the current economic situation in Nigeria and give us a perspective of where the Nigerian economy is going.
Yeah, thank you, Canberra. Yeah. So look, basically the Nigerian economy is bouncing back significantly. Yes, we had a couple of challenges in recent past, but I think the new administration now is more commercially focused, and the strategies they're implementing, especially stabilizing the foreign exchange, driving focus into agricultural production, into manufacturing, the coming up on stream of the Dangote refinery, which is one of the biggest refineries in across the world as well, has helped stabilize the economy somewhat. And as you know, the Nigerian population is very young and vibrant as well. We've got a lot of very young entrepreneurs. I think I keep hearing this saying that the women folk in Nigeria are some of the biggest entrepreneurs you have across the world, be it petty trading, and you've also got the intervention of the diversification that is happening in the banking system, where you have small retail PBSs setting up and being able to do volumes of transaction, bringing banking to the very local level. So you have a whole lot happening in the Nigerian economy right now. And I think the opportunities are immense. It's still a growing economy. And I think it's the right place to invest right now. That's the perception, and that's the reality of the Nigerian situation.
Great. So if I may go to Dr. Chikoje, just to give you a perspective of the kind of people who are in our participants, we have. I did a bit of an analysis of the kind of people who responded, and almost 25% are in manufacturing and engineering, 15% are in agriculture and food, and 15% are in tech and software. So maybe you could, and we're already starting to get questions about, AI and tech, and but also not ignoring, manufacturing, agriculture. So maybe you could look at these 2-3 sectors and give us a perspective for an Indian entrepreneur or Indian business. Which industries are ripe for Indian SMEs? Given our manufacturing and services expertise, and are there any gaps in the local supply chains that Indian entrepreneurs can fill?
Okay, so Karim summarized the prospects of doing business in Nigeria. He summarized it by saying that the economy is bouncing back. And so the country has a lot and a huge potential, a lot of potentials, to the extent that all sectors, let us even take away the oil sector, and then all sectors of the economy are very vibrant. The day we had a preliminary talk, I mentioned the mining sector. Mining is one area, one sector that has not just been scratched in this country. And there are many other sectors. I mentioned textile. Of course, a lot of Indian companies have been
did we lose you there?
Yeah, I think the screen has
We lost it. Yes.
Yeah. You can move on, Kanwar.
Should we go to would Princess?
Many
oh yeah, we're back.
When a Nigerian company is not surviving, there's no industry that's not viable right
now. I think we're having slight connection problems
now. I also mentioned the issue of the other financial institutions can turn with the existing ones in Nigeria. There are huge opportunities. The textile industry is there. Obviously, we still import a lot of textile materials, and we have good raw materials in this place. Cotton, we are one of the largest exporters of cotton in the world. And so when we have all these raw materials, so it becomes very necessary that we can't even single-handedly, every other sector is very viable in Nigeria. And we have huge economy, we have good population. And so those are the two major things going for us. And with that, so I think that discussion will get back to you and your team from India to say, which sectors are we interested in, so that we can tailor discussions in these sectors. And at the end of the day, we're going to be having a list of all the businesses that are coming from India to this place, so that either it's going to come in the form of a brochure, so that we can say, because some of them may want to come into Nigeria to manufacture, some of them may want to have distributors in Nigeria, and so we need to identify what indeed they want, and so that we know how to tailor the assistance and the business collaboration we're going to have with them. A lot can be done because of the huge potential that exists.
So, coming to Princess Zara, would you like to talk about, or I don't know who is the right person, but a little bit about the legal taxation and company setup? That is a theme with several participants. We had, Singvi there, Uni, LLP, and a lot of them they want clarity on how to form a company in Nigeria. How do you withholding tax and double taxation, legal rights for Indian professionals and firms? So, I don't know who is the right panelist, but this is a question about setting up a company in Nigeria.
Well, I can help you. Setting up a company in Nigeria would be NIPC, the Nigerian Investment Promotion Company, because that's typically what they're here for. So I would let the gentleman representing the ES speak, and then if he misses out any sectors, I would summarize for you.
Please.
Yeah, Manuel Longa.
Oh, if you can hear me, thank you for that question. I think I can respond to that. One, let's talk about the sectors for investment. And I'd like to thank the president of the Abuja chambers for giving an so for the sectors that we may be looking at in terms of investment in Nigeria, particularly for the Indian investors, we have a number. And just like you said, all the sectors are very vibrant. But as a government, we have priority sectors that are under the National Development Plan. And of course, the government is looking at first agriculture and agro-processing. That for food and of course security, and then export-led industrialization. So the government is looking at investors who will be able to process agricultural products even for export. Then we have renewable energy, particularly in solar, hydro, and green hydrogen. Now, this sector, of course, is high in demand. You know that electricity is actually one of our major challenges that we have in Nigeria. But to us, anything that is a challenge is, of course, an opportunity for the investors. And so investing in that part would of course, eventually lead to very, very interesting. And then we have other sectors like the manufacturing and industrialization. Now, leveraging the economic zone, the special economic zones that we have, and we have them spread over Nigeria, and then the proximity to the African continental free trade zone, area. Now, Nigeria has a population of about 250 million, which is a big market. But we're saying that if you set up a manufacturing plant in Nigeria, in addition to having that large population, Nigeria is a gateway to the AFCFTA. And we have a population or a market of about 1.4 billion within the African continental free trade. So set up in Nigeria, manufacture, and you can push the products and of course, down to those other countries. Then we have digital economy and fintech. Nigeria remains today as Africa's tech leader, attracting over 1/3 of the continent venture funding when it has to do with that. And maybe to explain that further, you may know that in Nigeria today, being the leading African continent in the number of unicorns, we have about 8 in Africa, but out of those 8, 5 are in Nigeria. And we now distributed, or the other 3 are distributed in Egypt, Senegal, and South Africa. Now, so it means that Nigeria is a big market for the consumption of digital services, and fintech. I'm happy that we have almost 55 or 15% of the investors who are listening now would be interested in investing in that sector. So in addition to this, we have so many sectors, just like the solid mineral that he mentioned, that is truly today on tap. And therefore, we would invite the investors to come in and then invest in those areas. Then let me touch closely on the last question that he asked. What are some of the processes that you need to go through to be able to settle down in Nigeria or start business in Nigeria? Now, one, it's important that for a foreign investor that has foreign content, the first thing to do is to register with CAC, that's Corporate Affairs Commission. Now, that registration would start off the process. And then if you have a local investor in Nigeria to partner with, then that would be a good way to start as well. But if you don't, once you're through with that process, then you go to the next process, which is to get a registration with the NIPC. We call it the business registration. And once that business registration is done with, then there are other agencies that you'll have to go through. Now, we know that the investor will have to go through a lot of agencies, what we call the agencies that are involved with the facilitation of investment. And therefore, as part of the reform by the government to streamline the process and, ease the process of doing business, we have within the NIPC what we call the one-stop shop, which is to have all those agencies that are involved with the facilitation of investment housed in one building within the NIPC. And so for us, depending on the sector that you'd like to invest in, we can advise and take you to the right agency that will take it off from there and then guide you through the process. So for now, I would stop here, but then provide further guidance as we go on. Thank you.
So you talked about some really interesting sectors. You talked about the agriculture sector and the energy and renewable sector. These two sectors have had a lot of queries from the Indian side as well. So would you be able to expand a little more about for things like contract farming opportunities, cashew, ginger, and agri export? Any kind of case study that you would like to present, which gives an example. And similarly in energy and renewable, again, there is a lot of interest so maybe we could spend 2-3 minutes more on these two sectors.
Okay, thank you for that question. Let me stay with agriculture a bit. Now, in agriculture, to give you perspective in this, we have almost about a large span of land for agricultural activities. And then within the agricultural activities that we have almost about 54 million hectares of land for arable farming purposes. And within that, only 45% of it is cultivated. It means we are now almost 55 and 56% uncultivated. What that means is that we do not just have the land for the investors to invest in, but we have the land that is fertile for them to invest in. Now, in addition to that, it means that whatever they are investing in, they can process it, one, and it can be used for export. That's two. Now, so you could set up a processing company and then have a backward integration, whatever it is that you'd like to process, you can have the land to set up and then locally process, for export and internal consumption. Then I did not mention initially the healthcare, infrastructure, and creative industry are other high areas of growth that the Indians investor may look at. Why? Because it offers complementary and collaborative areas of investment. So it means they can invest in pharmaceuticals, for which I know the Indians are good at, ICT, automobile components, and agricultural technology, very important. Why? Because most of the agricultural activities that are taking place in Nigeria are mostly subsistence. So if you bring in the technology that is needed to be able to move that sector, that will go a lot, will do a lot. Then there's a shared legacy of enterprises between the Indian firm and then the Nigerian partners. And for us in NIPC is to continue to deepen that relationship so that we get to a point where our local investors are always looking out to partner with the foreign investors. So if you are looking at areas of partnership, what the NIPC will do is to provide you with the information of the local Nigerian entrepreneurs who have indicated interest in certain areas, cutting across all the sectors, and then you look at areas that you can partner with them. Then talk about policies and legal protection that we have. Nigeria investment laws guarantee that you have 100% foreign partnership and, of course, full repatriation of profits where such profits are made. And we have what we call, Nigeria is registered to the ICSID. It's an investment arbitration, department that is global. So it means your arbitration is not limited to Nigeria alone, but you can, of course, have the opportunity to have this arbitration at a global level. So we have other fiscal incentives that I would like to discuss here, like the pioneer status that's given to investments within the pioneer industries. So we have about 5 years tax holiday that's given in phases. First, you'll be given about 3 years, and then we expect that once you have that, you will not be able to pay tax to government, but you must invest the money in expanding the business. And how do we know you're expanding the business? If you employ more people, and then, of course, structurally be able to now have more industries that can employ more people. Then you can come back and then make a request for another 2 years after the first 3 years that you applied for. Then we have custom duty exemption for other machineries and materials that will be used for agricultural products and others. And of course, for renewable energy and agri incentives, we have even the sector base. And so we'll be sharing with you, we have what we call the compendium of investment incentives. We have electronic version. After this meeting, we'll be sharing the comprehensive information with all the investors, because depending on the sector you would like to invest in, they can narrow it down and look at the sector and look at the incentive that can be given for that sector itself.
And I'll come to Mr. Karim for this. What do you think are the kind of regulatory hurdles or bureaucratic hurdles that Indians should know about, or you would advise, or certain how easy is it for foreigner to start a business? Do you need a local partner? Do we need a local partner, or?
I think the PEBEC, Princess Zara should answer that question.
Yes, I agree as well. She's the right person to direct this question.
Yes, please.
Princess, please.
Princess Zara.
Yeah.
Great. Good morning once again. It was great to hear NIPC had a robust answer to some of the questions. I think I'll just start from his answers because I picked out a few things that I thought was important. that hopefully our potential Indian investors would note. The entire process for company registration in Nigeria is digitalized and automated. So you can literally register a company, even as a foreign entity, before you come into Nigeria. There is also room for 100% foreign ownership in some sectors. There are sectors that are exempted from this, sectors like oil and gas, I think the telecoms and, some aspects of mining. But besides that, there is 100% ownership for, the vast majority of sectors. So you can decide to be in India and register a company end to end online. I think it's worthy to note that. We do also, if you are bringing in funds into Nigeria, you would need to get the certificate of capital importation from the CBN. This would enable you be able to repatriate 100% at the official rate, right? This also reduces the risk of fluctuation of currencies, although to be honest, during this administration, we have managed to stabilize our currency because we no longer really have a black market in the sense that it's a free trade now. So most times you find that it's more or less the same, whether it's black market or it's within the official window. So this has also helped to stabilize the economy. In terms of regulations, one of the key things that businesses continuously hamper on is predictability. And one of the things that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed into law this year, 2025, was a regulatory impact analysis framework. What this does is it means that all our business-facing ministries, departments, and agencies have to do an intensive impact analysis, which would also engaging stakeholders within the sector. So nothing comes to the businesses as a surprise. A typical regulatory impact analysis framework could take up to 6 months, bear 6 months to complete, right? And even after the process, it doesn't necessarily mean that they would be given the green light to go ahead. We would be able to, at that point, at that junction, analyze, assess whether the benefits outweigh or are worthwhile at the end of the day. And then in situations like that, it means that the businesses are involved in the whole policy processes and understand the need for those policies amendments if something like that is to happen. We have in the past had issues with agency overlaps and different regulators coming back to businesses for the same information multiple times. This is another thing that we started to tackle. We now have sectoral committees whereby we put like sister agencies together and we make them depend on each other for information. So in essence, reducing the burden on the businesses. We have that going on right now within the ports and customs sector, where we've put all the like agencies together. One of the key things we're pushing, hopefully before the end of the year, is for us to have joint inspections. What this would do would be that it would definitely reduce the dwell time between when containers arrive at the ports and when they're released. For people who are interested in bringing in goods from maybe India into Nigeria, of course, you would want to leverage on Nigeria's population of over 230 million odd people, which is amazing, by the way. But, this cuts across all the sectors. We have a sector for food and beverages. We have another sector for telecoms, etc. And again, what we're doing is bringing like agencies together so that we reduce the duplication of processes and reduce the burden on the businesses as a whole. We have also become very deliberate about checking and ensuring that our ministries, departments, and agencies that are business facing adhere to their strict service delivery guidelines. So we have mystery shopping quarterly. Our agency does that, where we just try and also see what the businesses, how they interface with the regulators, so we do this regularly so that we can continue to streamline and assess, this interaction and improve on it. We also have a feature called Report Gov, and with Report Gov, it allows our businesses to escalate matters. And typically we have a portal, and on the portal, we have all the business facing MDAs as well as PEBEC and the presidency at large. and issues that are escalated on this platform are typically resolved within 72 hours. Again, we understand how time sensitivity is very important for businesses. So what we are typically trying to do at PEBEC is reduce the burden on businesses. We know there are vast opportunities in Nigeria. All we have to do is create a more attractive business climate, and then all businesses, both local and potentially foreign businesses, will thrive. And that's what we're trying to do. I would definitely encourage Indians who are interested in investing in Nigeria to come into Nigeria, because our cultures are very similar. We're both very flamboyant people. So I'm surprised that you said that, because I have a few Indian friends. I also schooled in the UK, and I had a few Indian friends. And to be honest with you, they also had very good dress sense, amazing Indian parties. So we do have a lot of similarities in terms of culture. Even in terms of our population, the disparity between, how our societies are built in terms of, having the rich, the middle class, and the lower class. So we have a lot of similarities, and I can see how Indian businesses will definitely flourish in Nigeria. The Nigerian government has never been more proactive. Under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, who also happens to be the chairman of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC. This shows you that at the highest level of authority in Nigeria, we are actively trying to make Nigeria an easier place for you to do business.
That's wonderful. In fact, I totally agree with you. If we have Bollywood, you have Nollywood, and your movie industry is also super fun, and then you have the music and the Afro beats, and we have Indian music. So and the food, I think there's some of the most interesting food, just like India. So there is a lot of similarity, and I think that's why there's a lot of comfort in expanding to Nigeria. I want the panelists to now talk about their own experience about what are some of the typical mistakes that they have seen entrepreneurs do. From their own experience, their own anecdotes, one or two of which, because all of you have seen probably hundreds of businesses. So please, you share with us your own anecdotes that, what mistakes do foreigners or especially Indian entrepreneurs make in Nigeria. We don't have to be too politically correct here. This is a friendly conversation, so no one takes it too hard. But awareness and, being honest is something which people learn from. So maybe Mr. Kareem to start with, and then each of the panelists.
I think I can speak more to that, because I'm wearing the shoes from an entrepreneurial point of view amongst the panelists here. And our business is mainly, yes, it's a Nigerian business, but the founders are Nigerian Indians, depending on how you want to place it. So my commentary would go as thus. Now, doing business in Nigeria is both challenging, irrespective whether you're a local business or you're a foreign business. And it's also very deeply rewarding. But as mentioned here, we're people of over 220 million, energetic and full of ambition. And what we have learned over the years is that success here is not about who has the best business plan. It's more about who understands relationships, right? We're very big on relationships here. Trust comes from transactions over time, and I think that should be paramount on anybody looking at investing in Nigeria. Once people believe in your word and your consistency, they'll go the extra mile for you, and that's when the business truly begins. Another thing I would like to say is that of course, the environment has its complexities, just like any other regulatory processes, foreign exchange volatility, though a bit stable now, infrastructural gaps. But these are things that you can navigate with patience and the right local partners. The truth is that Nigeria rewards those who stay for the long course. And just to round this up, personally, I found that doing business here builds resilience. You learn to adapt, You need to be able to think on your feet, to be innovative constantly. The market is very challenging. And despite all of this, there's something very special about the energy in the Nigerian market. It is alive, it is creative, and it pushes you to grow. So for the Indian businesses looking to invest in Nigeria, learn from the Churchgate Group. They've been here for over 50 years, and they're one of the biggest real estate developers in Nigeria today. Thank you.
Okay. But Dr.
Yes,
Chikoji,
I want to
please.
add that there is no time a foreigner comes into a new country that he will not face challenges. Even if I have to come to India to do business, I will face challenges. And so, most importantly, is just for you to identify what business you want to do, go into that country, of course, liaison with institutions like NIPC, like PEBEC, that they're highly represented here by their CEOs. You see that most of your problems will be solved. For example, as you want to do export, and you are registered with Nigeria Export Promotion Council, they will direct you. They will direct you and tell you what to do and what not to do, and ensure that you have the local managers also. Because if you want to make it all Indian foreigners, then you're going to be having issues. So once you have the local managers also to help you to navigate some of these challenges, you're going to succeed. So there are government institutions that are already established that will help any investor to navigate all the challenges that they may have. But whether these challenges exist, yes, they will exist, but they will obviously be overcome. That's the most important thing.
So I know one way in which we can really build relationships, and that's to start a conversation on jollof rice. The moment you the moment you mention that, it starts any conversation and any relationship. If India has biryani, I think Nigeria has jollof rice. Another similarity which Princess Zara was mentioning in terms of similarities, it's rice. So, but give us some more tips about exactly what a person should do. Suppose they land in, what is a good region to start in, which is a good city to start in, Lagos versus Abuja versus maybe Port Harcourt, or there are other emerging hubs. How should a person choose a city, and what exactly they should do when they land? Do you work with emails? How should you take appointments? How should an entrepreneur work his way through the Nigerian system? Give us some practical advice.
NIPC should talk about it.
Okay. Thank you for that opportunity. One of the mistakes that investors normally do.
Sorry, your audio is a little bad.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's better.
Okay. So I want to talk about one of the mistakes investors make when they come to Nigeria is over-reliance on informal information. Now, it's important that Nigerians are willing and always ready to provide information, just like you said in your introduction. Even when they don't know where the street is, they will always want to point you somewhere. Now, if you want to deal with main agencies, always learn to deal with the main agencies that are in charge with certain activities. So if you now rely on informal information that are not statutory, they are likely going to now information that are not reliable. That's important. And so it's important you now talk to NIPC. And if you're able to talk to NIPC, even when we don't have the answers, we have the agency that can easily provide you with the right information. And so we point you to the right place and to the right agency within the same building. So that's important. Secondly, when you're talking about the issue of what should a Nigerian or an Indian expect when you come to Nigeria? One, our transport systems are very good. Just like in India, we have transport system that can be relied upon, like Bolt and others. And then you need to now be able to know which one is the right one, and then make the necessary contacts that you need. And skipping local intelligence can be another thing. So if you have somebody who is on ground and who is already investing in that sector, he would be able to provide you with local intelligence, but then that would be matched with the agency that would provide you with a confirmed information that has to do with either land and titles and regulatory permits. And failing to, or wanting to underestimate logistic and energy costs, it's important that when a person is coming, it's good to now have an idea of what you'll be investing in logistics and energy costs, and that can be fed into whatever requirements that you need to start off. So those are very important things that an investor would like to have handy when coming to Nigeria. And then, of course, underestimating the infrastructure, just like I said, and then logistics. So in most cases, if you're investing in an area that probably the infrastructure is not well provided, the NIPC can equally begin to think about areas, because we have incentives for you to invest in areas that are underdeveloped. And that can help you to probably develop the local infrastructure that will enable you start off. But in most cases, if you want to now invest in areas that have developed infrastructure, then begin to think about special economic zones that can help you start off seamlessly in that respect. Thank you.
We have one specific question over here coming up about the accounts and language. Is English language spoken and accepted? Rashmikant Kundalia asks, is English language spoken and accepted across Nigeria? And are books of accounts maintained in English? So I don't know if Mr. Kareem or Princess or Dr. Chikoje would like to answer that.
Okay, let me take it up. Okay, sorry, Kareem.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I wanted Princess to actually respond.
Okay,
to that.
Princess,
yes,
please. Let
go
Princess,
ahead, please.
Let Princess speak.
Perfect. So yes, we do speak English as our official language. And as you said, the accounting books would be in English. I think something to note for investors who are coming into Nigeria, especially if you just want to explore Nigeria before you even decide if you want to invest, we do have, for short-term visas, we have e-visas, which means that you can simply do everything online and the visa would be sent to your email. Right? This was launched this year and it's been working really well. If you have any issues as it regards to applying for visas and you face any challenges, please feel free to go to the PEBEC website, report.gov on the right-hand corner, and just escalate the matter. We would definitely be able to handle that for you. Earlier, they had spoken about which cities to invest in. PEBEC will be releasing its subnational ease of doing business report in November this year, end of November. This also typically just gives a guide on the pros and the cons of doing business in all the states in Nigeria, as well as ranking state, the top 10 states and the 5 most improved. Of course, we believe that you can invest in any state in Nigeria, and we're not trying to put any state down, but we would obviously highlight the states that are probably easier for you to do business in. In terms of some assumptions that I guess not just Indians would make about Nigeria, but vice versa. I've been to Chennai and Mumbai in India years ago, and I probably made similar assumptions would be around security issues, because you hear a lot of stuff in the media. I would tell you, Nigeria is safe. We're going about our business effortlessly, to be honest. Just like every country, you do have pockets of security challenges, but this is not widespread. And this is mainly not even within the business areas that you would want to explore. Difficulties around regulation, etc. I think a huge part of it is based on legacy issues that we probably had in the past. And, as as it takes time with every government to win trust. And this administration has only been in for 2 years, right? And as much, even though we were taking the right steps, it would take a bit more time for people to see the impact of some of the new initiatives that we've put in place to help, create a more an easier atmosphere and then a better business climate. But I can tell you that a lot of those assumptions that, oh, it's challenging to do business in Nigeria, or there's a lot of bureaucratic issues and delays and all of that, as to be honest with you, a thing of the past. We are assiduously working every day to make sure that all the business facing MDAs are able to provide a good service level to the businesses. Another thing to note is one of the key things PEBEC has done with our business facing MDs and also at the subnational level is we have insisted that information is readily available on website. So if you go on the website and the website says one information and you encounter something different, you need to escalate that. Whatever is published on the website is what is acceptable, right? So rather than relying on secondhand information, etc., go on the website of the agency or the ministry or whatever department that you need and go based on the requirements on the website. That would be the most trusted approach, I would say. And if you do have any issues again, NIPC should be, I guess the first point, especially because they have a one-stop shop. If there are issues bordering around, I guess, agencies just not providing a great service, then you can escalate to PEBEC. PEBEC also does have a high impact investment work stream. And what we do at this level, just as the name says, it has to be high impact. So it's either the amount of money that's being brought in is really a huge sum, or the number of jobs that would be created, or the problem that you're looking to solve in Nigeria. If it's considered high impact, then we can use the presidential will to help bring all the players to the table and simplify the process for you. But we wouldn't step in ordinarily. We wouldn't be your the first point of contact. I guess it would be NIPC. And then in situations, like I said, that we would deem high impact, then we can use the presidential will to help fast track things and simplify processes for you, because Nigeria is open for business. Our president is very in fact, we tease him all the time and we call him the chief marketing officer of Nigeria because he leads from the front. And his mantra, what he continuously says is Nigeria is open for business. He's extremely pro-business, so there has never been a better time for you to invest in Nigeria. So again, I guess I'm going to end on the note that Nigeria is open for business. You're always welcome. Explore. Process your visa online. Come in, have a look. The opportunities are endless. Thank you.
Wow, that was such a good recap of the conversation that I think you are the brand ambassador for Nigeria, and anybody who's been listening to you would be totally convinced about doing business and looking at Nigeria very proactively, and it's so good to hear what you're saying. With that, I think we've covered a lot of conversation in just 1 hour, and time is of the essence. So of course, we have been able to remove a lot of the misconceptions. The misconception of the safety, the misconception of the culture being different, and also looking at other beyond oil. So the participants and everybody realize that Nigeria is a lot more opportunity than they probably imagined. With that, I would like to hand it over, thank the panelists, everybody in the panel, and also hand it over to April for her closing remarks.
Okay, before the closing remarks, okay, sorry, please. Before the closing remarks, Mr. Manuel of NIPC mentioned he will be releasing compendium of investment incentives. So it will be interesting for that to be sent online to all participants, so that will be useful to everybody. And when businesses, of course, you cannot, I want to reiterate here that there's a saying that you cannot stay far and kick somebody. You must come in first. When you come in, you see the opportunities that exist. So you can't be away and you are afraid of the inconsistencies that we've been hearing about in the social media. You just have to come in first and see the opportunities that exist. So I expect that when that compendium is sent to everybody, it will give us enough information. And of course, any other information that we have, we will share. I also expect that all participants that want to do business in Nigeria there should be a way they will have to send in what kind of businesses they do and everything to us so that we can also share with the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and the members who want to have such collaborations with them. So there must be a follow-up after this participation so that we will share information and they will also share information from there. That's what I want to add.
Thank you.
All right, April, just to add one more thing. Thank you very much, Dr. Chijioke.
Yes, just to add that the advice of UK, I've sent the compendium of investment opportunity on the chat line, so people can download it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to add that, prior to this time, at the World Trade Center Abuja, we've actively collaborated with, other World Trade Centers in India, and we've had trade missions as far back as 2022. And I think one of the outcomes that we're looking at from this session is to see how we can begin to exchange business opportunities. For those, I can see in the chat box already that a lot of businesses within your network have been introducing themselves. And aside from that, we have a lot of other WTCs from India that have reached out to us from last year to this very point, looking for investment opportunities in the solar energy, renewable space, and all of that. And part of what we want to do post this conversation is to see how we can set up a working conversation with World Trade Center Bengaluru to establish that communication line, have them route all of those business conversations to us, those that they have verified and filtered, as a matter of fact. So we can, disperse to the respective agencies and, our partners at WTC, ACCI, Abuja Chambers of Commerce, and the other agencies of the government. Additionally, possibly next year, we can also think about the trade mission. I know India hosts a lot of trade missions back and forth, but at the same time, this time around, let's look at having some of these Indian businesses that are really serious in investing in Nigeria coming for a 1 week inbound trade mission to Nigeria. Of course, we have PEBEC here, we have NIPC. We can collaborate with them to show them some of the opportunities and have them go through the entire process as well. So this is just to say that we are committed to seeing how this conversation can turn into a fruitful partnership and collaboration, that we can have this business transform these conversations to actual business opportunities. So we look forward to having that from Bengaluru and World Trade Center Kochi. Thank you very much.
Sure, goodness. You know whom to reach out to. We would be open, and if you have anything, please reach out to us. Thank you.
All right. With that, we have come to the end of this really engaging discussion. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining for this session on Nigeria's business culture and the legal landscape. First of all, a special thank you to Mr. Karnveer Mundre for driving the conversation with so much of energy and clarity. And thank you so much to our speakers, Mr. Karim, Dr. Chijioke, Princess Zara, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you for sharing your expertise on everything. We started with the legal aspects of starting a business in Nigeria and moved on to the cultural nuances and the common pitfalls that entrepreneurs do. And we also had insights on the emerging sectors for investment. So it was definitely a very insightful session. And we also extend our appreciation to our program partners, Bangalore Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for continuously supporting us throughout the Discovery series, and World Trade Center Abuja for supporting us for this episode. To everyone who attended, thank you for your enthusiasm and engagement. The Discovery series will return with more episodes exploring global markets and in more countries. So do follow us on our website and social media for updates. Right after this session, we will be posting about it on LinkedIn, and I hope you will share your feedback and takeaways from the session over there. We'd love to know your thoughts. Last but not the least, thank you, goodness, for your support throughout this session and for those actionable insights right at the end. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day ahead.
Before we close, I wanted to thank Vivek for his dynamic leadership and also April for her tireless coordination and management of this series. And she does such a great job at all the effort and all the coordination. Thank you, April, and thank you, Vivek.
Thanks to you, Kanveer, as well, for shaping this up.
Much.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Bye-bye. Thank you.